Son Goku Natenji no Yoni, cause we're two good old handboy. This place is not my home, but I mustn't run away. This life is not my own, but I can't anyway. These people are not my friends. This existence needs to end. Where's the exit? I don't know. Welcome to my Japanese anime show. Like a coward who hasn't beat Shinobi 3, all your power is worthless in obscurity. Something, it doesn't matter anyway. Rise up, handboy, and make yourself a legend.
Hey, welcome to the Pleeb and the Weeb show, the show where you decide who's the Pleeb and who's the Weeb using the polls down in the description. I'm DigiBro, and I'm joined by...
Evangelion.
That one. We just watched Evangelion 3.33. There will be lots of spoilers. This movie sucks balls. Don't watch it. Anyway, Jesse, what do you think about Eva 3.33?
It's a fucking abomination, man. It's terrible. I don't even know where to start.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
I can't process the reality of it. I hadn't seen this movie. This movie's like 5 years old already.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen it yet. I was just going to wait till the fourth one came out. I was like, fuck it. It had been a long time since I watched the first two when the third one came out, so I was just like, and I didn't get around to it, and then finally we did, and it was a waking fucking nightmare. It was 90 minutes of nothing, and what was there? Incomprehensible garbage. You've seen this movie a few times.
I've seen this movie like 3 or 4 times. I saw it a couple times before it got dubbed, and then I saw it after it got dubbed when I bought it on Blu-ray.
Well, thankfully you've got a shitload of notes.
I do have a shitload of notes. Do you want to just like... I don't know. These are kind of
There's like charts and diagrams.
Yeah, I tried to be like...
One page is just kill me over and over again for a whole page.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Actually, it's 2 pages. It goes across both.
I tried to be like organized for this one, like how Nate does. I tried to go full best guy ever. You know, he always has a little notebook of notes. He always has stuff he wants to say. But I have nothing that I want to say. All I have is feelings that I want to not feel anymore.
Well, I can tell you about my problems with this movie. I think mine are more simplistic than yours. Because for me, this movie was broken immediately. Like, the conceit of the movie is stupid. It is a dumb movie. It's a dumb idea. So what happened is, at the end of the second movie, Shinji had done this big thing.
Here's what the movie is. The first 30 minutes of the movie is just Asuka doing something.
Yeah.
No one knows what she's doing. It doesn't make any sense. She's doing nothing. She's playing around. She's got a blowtorch. She's floating into space, and then she's underwater, and then so the first 30 minutes is Asuka doing something. The next hour is Shinji doing nothing. And then the last 40 minutes is just like this mocking parody of Evangelion.
That would be a good way to put it.
This movie is like Evangelion as written and directed by Jared Leto's Joker. It's just like the edgiest, crappiest possible version with none of the depth to it that it used to embody.
This felt like Evangelion as written by someone who really thinks they get Evangelion, but doesn't, which is odd because it's written by the people who make Evangelion.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that, it was Anno and also a guy from FLCL.
Yeah. And
also a guy from something else.
Yeah, so the thing about this movie, I looked at, there are 4 people listed as director on this movie. Hideaki Anno and Kazuya Tsurumaki are the two, I'm pretty sure they directed the first two together. Anno obviously made Eva. He made all the everything he's ever made is amazing except for this movie.
It's amazing, all right.
And Kazuya Tsurumaki, who was Anno's protege, directed Fooly Cooly, Die Buster, and that's basically it. But the feel of the Eva movies is much more Tsurumaki's kind of feel than Anno's. Like, everything's really big and epic, and there's cool, badass moments. And, like, when you watch Die Buster and FLCL, there's those moments where, like, you know, someone rips off their chains, and there's a big pan-out explosion, and the robot rises up, and it looks all cool. That's Tsurumaki, and that's what the Eva movies feel like. But then this one also has a director credit to Mahiro Maeda, who was the director of Gankutsuo, I believe, and he's done a lot of visual arts for all kinds of stuff. He was a visual artist on fucking Mad Max Fury Road. Lots of stuff. And the way that this film uses tons and tons of CG and the way that it just feels like an art design movie. Like, so much of this movie is just like, here's a cool looking thing. It doesn't mean anything, but it's a cool looking thing. And it's in CG. That's very Mahiro Maeda. So, like, it feels like all three of them on this movie, except it feels... There's nothing in this felt like Anno. It really did not feel like anything he's made before. And God, the writing is dog shit.
The writing is fucking dog... Well, there's a thing that Asuka says near the beginning. I wrote it down because this is, like... Cringeworthy. It's not... It's like something that you'd see in, like, Inuyasha or some shit. Some anime that dweebs watch. Not Maeva. Asuka, you know, Shinji's there. He's, what's happening? I don't know. And Asuka, this is the only explanation that Shinji gets for what's happening, because he doesn't know. He's been in a coma for 13 years. Mm-hmm. The only explanation that he's given is Asuka saying, I can't do it. I won't stay back. I can't hold it in any longer. A whole lot of pent-up anger and sorrow. And then she starts cutting her wrists open right in front of him. She starts, you know, she's got Linkin Park, shows up and starts playing.
The whole band.
Well, the whole movie, it has, like, anime dialogue.
Yeah.
Which I don't think of when I think of Evangelion. Everything is so, cringeworthy in this. And
beyond anime dialogue, it really does feel like a Linkin Park song. And, like...
weird, edgelord, faggot dialogue.
People have talked about this movie as being, like, this deconstruction and shit. And, like, I mean, people have said that about Eva forever, which I don't even think is right. But, like...
This is a deconstruction of Evangelion, because Evangelion is good,
yeah.
So they made a bad.
The second movie, Shinji becomes, like, a big damn hero in a way that he never was before, right? And in this movie, they kind of, like, the way that people analyze it, they say, well, Shinji's, like, being punished. It's showing that, like, that didn't work, that, like, he was naive. But, like, the movie itself is explicitly stating that over and over again, but gives no reason for why. At no point does someone say, Shinji, what you did was, like idiotic because of this. That everyone just constantly tells him, you're so naive. You're such an idiot. God, how can you be so naive?
Yeah.
What did he do?
Fucking, like, Mari yelling at him near the end of the movie, like, you just gotta stop being so damn naive and do all the things that no one explained to you.
Yeah. Like, okay, the central part of this movie that makes it completely unwatchable to me is that, like, it takes place 14 years in the future. Shinji's been in a coma the whole time. He wakes up, the whole world is fucked. Nobody's left alive except for Nerve and this Misato's got, like, an anti-Nerve group, and that's it. And everyone blames Shinji and won't explain anything to him, and they're all assholes to him, and it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
Why would they act like at the end of, you said yourself, at the end of the second movie, Misato was cheering Shinji on.
Yeah.
She's like, Shinji, do it! Kill that fucking angel! Yeah, do the thing you're doing. He does the thing everyone wants him to do. And then in the third movie, everyone's like, it's all your fault. You were so naive. You caused this third impact. You're the problem. And no one explains to him why, what he did wrong. They all just blame him. And it's been 14 years. No one's changed. No one looks different. No one acts different. Other than that, they're all assholes now.
Is it trying to... I can see if it's trying to say that, like, they've gotten so cold from living in this post-impact world for the last 14 years. It's been so hard. Of course, they're angry at him or whatever. But Misato already lived for 14 years in a post-impact world. She grew up in it originally, and she grew up into, like, the most kind, compassionate, complex character in the show. So then all of a sudden in this, she's like, Shinji, I'm gonna put a collar around your neck, and if you fuck up, if you don't do what I say, but I'm not gonna explain what I'm saying, I'm not gonna explain anything, just do what I say, you little shit, or I'll blow your fucking head off. Misato in this movie has gone from like the most compassionate character in the series to Amanda Waller in fucking Suicide Squad. She's literally like putting bombs in people's necks and saying, "Do what I fucking tell you to, or you're gonna get a goddamn spanking." She's not Ma Misato. None of these characters are Ma anything. They're all wrong. The way that the whole 14-year time skip doesn't work at all.
No,
because this
it makes
movie,
no fucking sense.
all of the character development is wrong. I think this movie like has the wrong idea of what character development is, because Misato has like grown in this direction that doesn't really make sense. Maybe it would make sense if they had shown it, but they didn't.
No.
So, but then other characters like Asuka, who this is 14 years later, she's 28 years old. She hasn't changed at all. And I'm not just saying about her looks, because she still looks like a teenager, and they try to like hand wave that away with like, oh, it's the curse of the Avas, whatever, because
I'd heard
they couldn't have her not be a fucking lolly.
I knew a bunch of spoilers for this movie. I've seen all the important moments in GIFs. I've heard people talk about it, and I'd heard Asuka. It's 14 years later, but the main characters don't age. I thought there'd be an explanation.
There's not.
She literally just says, "The curse of the Avas," and that's it. That sentence.
That's the only,
Why do you still look like yourself if it's been 14 years?
Boy.
The curse of the Avas. Nothing
Oh, gee,
else
thanks, Asuka.
said.
I guess that explains
Yeah,
everything.
okay.
Well, it's not just that, that she looks the same. At least they have at least one sentence explaining that. But her personality is exactly the same as it was 14 fucking years ago. Think back, everyone, to 14 years ago. The person you were 14 fucking years ago. Were you anything like you are now? No. And you didn't have to grow up. You didn't have to spend the last decade in a fucking post-impact world.
So much of what made Asuka the way she was that she was 14.
Yeah, she's a petulant little brat.
Yeah, she wants to be older. She wants to be treated as an adult, but she doesn't act like an adult.
In this movie, she's fucking almost 30. And she's still a petulant little brat.
Mm-hmm. All she does is just get angry and yell a lot. That's her whole character.
Yeah, and even if you tried to, explain like, well, maybe the curse of the Avas, maybe they're not developing emotionally as well as not developing physically. Okay,
could be.
So maybe she's not developed emotionally, but still she'd have experience. 14 years of experience. She would not be the same fucking person. Half the characters have become totally new characters, and the other half of the characters are like weirdly the same.
Yeah. And God, just the whole 14 years thing is just, I can't handle it. Like I'm looking at Misato doesn't look any older. Ritsuko looks the same. She just has a haircut. These two should be like pushing 40 at this point. Yeah. They should look older. Toji's little sister is now a character in this movie. She'd only ever been talked about before. We never saw her. But it's implied that she would have been in elementary school, because I'm pretty sure it was her school that got destroyed when Toji, his sister got in the hospital because her school got destroyed, so Toji was taking care of his little sister. Now she's grown up, and she's working for Nerve, but she looks like a teenager. But 14 years have passed. She should be like 21. She should be in her 20s, and she's just like a cute little kid. Like, she's Shinji's age now. Haha, Shinji was asleep for 14 years. Now Toji's sister's his age, except that would only be 7 fucking years.
It doesn't matter. It's just a whole bunch of bullshit. It's all a bunch of gay crap. It's gay crap. It's a crap.
It's so bad.
Stick your dick in crap. Fucking poop.
And nothing happens. Nothing happens.
The movie's nothing.
The first 30 minutes is an action scene where they just keep saying gibberish. And, Ava always had a deep lore. It always had a lot going on. There's Sele and Nerve and all this other shit. There's the fucking angels.
Yeah, a deep lore, but not necessarily an important lore. It
Exactly.
was never the focus.
It's not important. There was a lot of the stuff when people talk about the deep Ava secrets and shit. A lot of that was stuff that was published in booklets that came with the DVDs that weren't even mentioned in the show. There's a bunch of Ava lore out there that that's just not relevant because it's not what the show was about. It was about the emotional issues of these characters and what they were going through. This movie is just non-stop weird fucking lore that means nothing.
And it explains absolutely nothing.
No.
Like you were saying at the beginning, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is that? And I was telling you, well, that ship is called the Vundagor, and it's powered by Unit 1 because Unit 1 has the S2 organ or whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that from seeing the movie. I knew that from reading fan fictions.
Yeah. And even
fan
then,
fictions have more information about this movie's asinine story than the movie itself. It explains nothing. And I've heard people say, I don't remember if it was, Demolition D or some other fucking crappy anime YouTuber. They're all the same. They're all idiots. But I've seen, in YouTube analysis videos of people going like, well, no, you see, it's actually brilliant. Otto is putting you in Shinji's shoes by not explaining anything, so the viewer will be just as frustrated and scared and confused as Shinji.
I doubt that was Demo, because he was pretty hard on these movies.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Someone did.
So the argument is that, maybe this movie is frustrating and asinine on purpose to put you in Shinji's shoes. Well, congratulations, it's asinine and shitty. You did it. Woo! It's 10 out of 10, I guess.
Like even knowing, even after you tell me, like, the ship's powered by Unit 021's core, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Why does it matter? What does that do? What does that do for the plot? How does that change what's going to happen to Shinji and Asuka and Rei, the character, and Misato,
the entire movie is Shinji asking really quite reasonable questions.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on? Why does everybody hate me? What happened to the world? If you haven't noticed, I've been in a coma for 14 years. I don't know these things. And everyone just responding, fuck you!
Everyone scowls
Misato,
constantly.
what is this ship that I'm on? Fuck you! What happened to the world? Fuck you!
And the weirdest part is that these explanations end up being important to the characters who should have explained them. Because the second that that Unit 0 breaks into Shinji's cell and is like, come with me, Shinji, Misato's like, wait, hold on! Let me give you all the exposition I ignored earlier because it's really important that you stay with me. And Shinji's like, maybe you should have said something 15 minutes ago. I'm going with Rei. Bye-bye. Peace.
The answer to every question in this movie is just because. Like, there's Asuka turns into a dog at the end of the movie.
Oh my god!
I'm not even...
What the fuck was that?
She just turns it... Why does Asuka turn into a dog? Well, Asuka turns into a dog now. It's her thing. It's what she does.
Why would an Eva turn into a dog? I get that she went like beast mode in the second movie, right?
Right.
Like I get. Why a dog? Why is it a dog? If it had been...
Was it a dog or was it more like a panther or like a cat?
If it had been a gorilla, I would have been okay. If it had been some kind of monkey suggesting that she's like devolving into the proto-human,
well, that humans
that's one
evolved
thing.
from dogs.
Of course.
Even the stuff they try to explain, they explain in a way that makes it worse than if they hadn't explained it. Because, like, there's, like, this, like, extended 20-minute sequence where they're down in, like, Terminal Dogma or something.
Yeah.
Shinji's trying to get the fucking Lance of Longinus,
Yeah.
which is how they pronounce it in this movie. Not the Lance of Longinus, the Lance of Long Vaginus.
Yeah.
And Kaoru is like going back and forth with himself. Kaoru is sitting next to Shinji, and I wrote down Kaoru's exact quote here. This is exactly what he said in the movie. Take the lance. No, don't take the lance. No, take it. Let me take your lance and my gates of Goth. Blah, 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 blah. But don't take the lance, bro, but take it. Lol, it's just a prank, bro. Okay, bye. And then his fucking head explodes. And Shinji's just sitting there like, what?
Completely accurate. He really does. Like, he just keeps, like, Kaoru's just sitting there for, like, 20 minutes. Everyone's fighting, and he's like...
Yeah. He's in the middle of a battle.
There's supposed to be 2 lances, but if there's 1 lance, that means I'm the 13th angel. What is the Gate of Goth? What the hell is the Gate of Goth? Why does Unit 01 grow 2 extra arms and become fucking Mecha Shiva and grab all these...
he gains arms. He has got Goro.
Yeah, he Goros out.
That shit.
And then he turns white and he grows like a fucking dick out of his head. And then, like, Unit 02 becomes a dog. Mary is just a comic relief character in this movie.
Still not explained anything about Mari. She's
No,
still is a
don't know a
character
thing
with
about her.
no purpose, no personality, no meaning for being there. They'll never explain her. She's existed only to sell toys. She was shoehorned into this whole franchise. She has no point. The closest they have come to even attempting to explain Mari is not even in these movies. It's in the Neon Genesis Evangelion manga, which wrapped up quite recently, a year or 2 ago, by Sadamoto. There's like a
guy who drew all these pretty pictures.
Yeah, there's the main story ends the same way it does in the animated series. They're on the beach or whatever. But no, wait, it doesn't actually. But that's not important. The point is, there's like 1 to 2 pages right at the end of the manga where it like flashes back to Yui in college, and she's got a friend named Mari, and that's just all it tells you. So I think is it implying that that's the same Mari or a clone of Mari? No one knows.
Just
no one cares.
noticing the graphic vagina drawing in your notes.
Oh yeah, this is
It's a huge vagina.
I drew a Cassius and Longinus, aka the Lance of Long Vaginas. I don't know if you can make that out, but yeah, it's just a big vagina. I don't know. I got all kinds of important notes here, archaeological, scholarly.
This movie, the tone is totally retarded.
See right here, it says Rey is always naked, but I never see her pussy. So then I drew her pussy, and I said, there it is, a nice smooth little Rey pussy. That's the little pussy. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if I can show a little Rey pussy on the internet, but right there, it's a little Rey pussy right there. It's a nice, because she's always naked, so I figured her deserves some representation.
So this movie, visually, I found horrific, because even though there's all these cool looking things, like Ava after it goes into its like ultimate final form or whatever, like there's a lot of imagery that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, this movie's got imagery out the wazoo. They fucking fight on a giant mountain of skulls.
Yeah,
which just would be cool as like a video game background. But like it makes no what is it?
It doesn't have any meaning. Like End of Ava is full of crazy ass imagery, but it's pretty easy to understand what it all means. There's a bunch of vagina angels and a bunch of dicks go into
Gendo
them,
has a room,
and there's a bunch of sperm, and you go, okay, it's a sex metaphor.
Gendo has a room with like a giant disembodied Yui head.
Yeah. That's
like sitting creepily on a throne of skulls, and he like talks to it.
Weird.
They don't explain what that is or why that is. There's a really fucking weird line where Fuyutsuki is hanging out with Shinji.
Oh yeah.
And he's explaining to Shinji that, the Rey you see is a new Rey, the old Rey, we can't find her, she might be dead, whatever. He's explaining a little bit of exposition, and he says, you saw your mother die or whatever, fucking when you were a kid, but you don't remember it because your memories were erased. What?
How?
That's all he says.
Yeah.
He doesn't elaborate on that. It's not like how in the original where it was you saw your mother die when you were a kid, but you don't remember it because you were a fucking kid.
Yeah.
They had to just fucking stick this little extra line in there. It takes every opportunity it can find to confuse you, for no reason, unnecessarily. Yeah, you don't remember seeing your mom die, but you were there. The reason you don't remember is, your memories are probably erased. Yeah, sure. Fine. Why not? His fucking memories were erased. Sure. By who? I don't know. Why? I don't know.
Anyway, to talk about the visuals, and like there's cool stuff, but none of it means anything. But the thing that really got to me is that everything in this movie tries to be like dark, edgy, and gothic. But the color design and the overall look of the movie is very poppy and bright, and like it looks like Die Buster, but it doesn't, like the tone is clearly going for like this edgy, it should have been deep and saturated. I don't know how to explain this. It looks like cartoony, but the tone is the opposite. Like, the way they drew it is so sleek and modern and new, and everything's CG and computerized and clean, and yet the imagery is grotesque, and it should be dirty and grungy and just, have more of that element. It would look better hand-drawn, or less abundantly digital, because it's way too clean for the tone it's going for. And then you've got scenes where, like, there's these blood rains, but it's all, like, goofy looking, the blood just looks like paint, and Kaoru's head, at one point, like the most dramatic moment in the movie, Kaoru's head fucking explodes, and like less than 10 seconds later, Makinami Mari's running, and her tits are just like bouncing all over the place, and she's like, Asuka, what are you doing? We gotta get the robot. And what is the tone of this movie? Like, if you're gonna make a dark, edgy film, do that. But they didn't even attempt.
Nobody's motivations make any sense. I mean, Misato puts this collar on Shinji that'll blow his head off if he doesn't do what he says. But there's a scene where he's flying away and she can't bring herself to activate it because she's Misato and she still likes Shinji. I mean, she still cares about him enough to not want to blow his head off, even though she threatened to. But like, why would you would have known that you couldn't do it when you put the fucking collar on him.
Yeah.
Idiot.
And then
They're all idiots.
And then Kaoru, later on in the movie, in order to convince Shinji that he should pilot the robot, just takes the collar off of him. He can do that. He can just magic the collar off.
For some reason, Shinji can't take the collar off him, but Kaoru just can.
Kaoru can. And so Kaoru says, Shinji, yeah, you can pilot the robot. I'll take on the burden myself. And puts the collar on himself for no reason.
Throw it in the fucking garbage, you asshole!
Get rid of
it!
You
idiot!
Why does he need it?
Stupid!
I thought at first, when that happened, I thought, okay, maybe he's planning to die to trigger something in Shinji. But that is not the case. In the final scene, Kaoru realizes that he's the angel, and it's like, oh, fuck. You know, like, he didn't expect that this was going to end up the way it did. He didn't expect to die. Why did he put the collar on? There's no reason. There's no reason at all this should have been necessary. You can say whatever you want about like what it meant to symbolize, about him taking on Shinji's sin or whatever. There's no reason he had to put it on. Why did Shinji let him? Why didn't Shinji say, that blows up, so don't wear that, you know?
Yeah.
Or like when he put it on himself, why didn't Shinji go, whoa! Why on you? And then Kaoru go, oh, because I'm gay. And then Shinji would be like, but... and Kaoru would be like, it's too late, buddy.
I'm gay. So, Rei in this movie, she's not the original Rei, she's a new Rei, which means that we get to see Rei have the same character arc that she has constantly, over and over again. So she doesn't remember who she is anymore. She's back to sort of being a blank slate. Shinji tries to get her a bunch of books. He goes, Rei loves reading books. This is the conversation. I actually wrote down the conversation word for word here, because Rei doesn't read the books that Shinji gets him, and Shinji throws a little tantrum. He goes, you didn't read your books. You are not Rei. I hate you because the real Rei read books and was cool. You are hashtag not cool and hashtag not nice. You are hashtag not Rei. You have no emotions and I hate you. I miss Rei. I hate you. You're always naked but I never see your pussy and I'm sad. And then Rei responds, I am Rei, but I'm the new Rei. I don't read anymore. I don't have a personality anymore. I'm sorry, maybe I do have a personality. I'm confused. Now you fucking unzipped me. Shit.
The characters in this movie mean nothing. They mean nothing. Because it all reset. Like, the way this movie is portrayed, like, the way the 14-year time skip happens, it's like, these are not the people we know anymore. This is just a new movie. Like, you might as well just throw out the whole old thing because the whole situation's different. Everyone's in a different place. Rei is literally a new Rei. Asuka and everyone else is 14 years older and they act completely different. We don't know why. So what this movie had to do was to reintroduce these characters and make them interesting. And instead, it does nothing with them. They all are just there. None of them make sense. None of them do anything.
Why did there have to be a new Rei? I mean...
Why'd there have to be any of this?
The whole point of the end of the last movie is that he saved Rei, but he didn't. I mean, it would... I don't know. It seems like more interesting to me if it was he did save Rei at the cost of fucking up the world.
Right.
But in this one, Rei died and he fucked up the world. And
because it's a message about how saving people's bad.
Well, it just leads to having to see the same Rei arc over and over again. Why can't we keep?
But now in like 3 lines of dialogue.
Yeah.
Like spattered throughout this little 90-minute movie.
Like holy shit! Just have her move her forward. She's fucking this. And I don't like it.
The first Rebuild
I'm
film,
sick and tired of seeing that arc.
Yeah. The first Rebuild film covered the first 6 episodes of the show, and it covered them reasonably about as well as the show did. There was not a lot cut from that, right? The second stretch covers a huge span of stuff that happens in the show. It's like everything from episode like 7 to 15 or 16. Yeah. It's changed around a lot, but in a way that made sense and was narratively coherent. This movie had exactly as much content as just episode 24 of Eva. Stretched out into 90 minutes, nothing that's new is worthwhile.
Everything that should be the same is not, and everything that could be changed is not.
Exactly.
They ruined every possible opportunity to do anything interesting or new, and they also squandered every opportunity to keep what was good about the old one. In the original show, Rey's entire character arc was slowly coming out of her shell, right. And then when she dies and gets replaced and loses all of that, it's a gut punch to Shinji. To her, she's fucking depressed about it, because she can tell that she's missing something from herself, and it's a gut punch to the viewer, and that worked in the old show, but just why would you do that over again when you're doing a new one?
Kaoru makes no sense in this movie, because he's just there to be Kaoru.
He's just there to have a small dick and make people annoyed.
Like, the thing about... Like, I loved Kaoru in the original show, not because of the character, but what he meant, which is that Shinji's at this point where he spent the whole show trying to make connections with people, but because everyone else is now fucking broken, none of them are around. He spent this whole show, like, he kind of became friends with Misato and Rei and Asuka, but now Rei's dead. Asuka's fucking mind raped in a fucking bathtub in Germany. And Misato is, because Kaji died, she's lost her...
The bathtub's in Japan.
Either way, Misato's, crying because Kaji's dead. So everyone's fucking off doing their own thing, and Shinji's just lonely and sad, and all these connections he's formed have disappeared. And then this guy shows up who's just really nice to him, and Shinji, who is so desperate for human connection, just completely goes gay for this guy.
Yeah.
Because someone is showing any interest in him, and it's all he wanted. But in this movie... That's such a, the difference is so dramatic because it's no longer the same people that he once knew.
And Kaoru in the show knows that he's an angel.
Yeah.
And his arc is that he's inquisitive and he decides
Likes
to give
humans,
he gives humanity a chance because he gets to know Shinji.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. And this... He doesn't know he's an angel, or does he's just a little gay boy in this.
He just tells Shinji hey, come play piano with me. Which, by the way, Shinji for no reason knows how to play piano. He just sits down and just starts jamming out with Kaoru, and they have a good old time. Why is Kaoru even at Nerve? What is Nerve at this point? No one works there. It's just Kendo, Fuyutsuki, and Rei now. How are they even running the fucking place? How does any of it work? I don't get it. They're in the ruins of Nerve, and Kaoru's just there. There's just a piano in the middle of a fucking desolate room with nothing else in it but Kaoru and his piano, and him and Ninji just play piano all day, and then Kaoru dies. None of the subtext of the original is there. None of the nuance of it. It's just Kaoru. Just it's like all they remembered about him was that he was a gay boy who Shinji liked. There's none of the same reasoning behind why he would be there. Now I had heard that part of the reason this film took so fucking long to make it to the U.S. because it only came out last year, right?
Yeah.
And it was almost 4 years that this movie hung around. The Japan only release, and it took Funimation forever to get it out here. I had heard that the reason for that was that the initial dub that they had prepared, Ano and Kara were so dissatisfied with it that they rewrote it for them. They redid the writing and made them rewrite it.
Then why did they rewrite it bad?
Yeah, that's my question. Because one of the early things that we noticed that was weird and stupid is that Asuka refers to Mary as four-eyed
crony.
Four-eyed crony.
Which is a really weird thing to say.
Really
doesn't
weird.
Flow.
No.
I think in the subtitled version, I think she just calls her Four Eyes or something. What's wrong with Four Eyes?
It's probably Megane something. She probably calls her glasses crony as opposed to Four Eyes crony.
But I mean that would be so easy to localize and translate.
Yeah.
Just say Four Eyes.
Exactly. Four-eyed crony sounds weird as shit.
The original show, which was dubbed 20 years ago, doesn't have these weird problems. It doesn't have lines that sound awkward like this. I don't get it. I don't like it. It's bad.
There's a lot of weird awkward lines. It's just such a shame seeing all these new designs. Imagine if there was a cool version of this movie where Toji's sister shows up and is a total cutie. And you'd be like, oh man, what's she gonna... Like at the start of the movie, I'm like, hey, wow, that's Toji's sister? How cool. What's she like? She's there for like 5 minutes and then just completely doesn't show up again. There's some cute, big-lipped, pink-haired girl on the bridge. Never learn anything about her. She's just on the bridge. There's a bunch of new people on the bridge. Don't know anything about any of them. Misato just stares into the distance with sunglasses on through the whole fucking movie. Never says anything. Never does anything Misato-like. Ritsuko just dumps exposition. Gendo doesn't do anything. He's got a visor now. Everyone wears visors now, I guess. That's the future.
I don't know.
None of the new technology makes sense.
It's all just shallow, vaguely cool-looking, surface-level bullshit trying to distract you from the fact that nothing makes sense and everything is garbage. Oh, Gendo has a cool space visor now. Oh, Misato is dressed like M. Bison. I guess that's interesting.
Really reminds me of, like, the way that people talk about, like, the new Star Wars and how, like, those movies just, like have, oh, there's a lightsaber that now has a chew on the side. It's like that, but without even trying to make a story that makes sense out of it. It's just a lot of Eva iconography updated a little bit so there could be a whole bunch of new toys made out of it. Like if all the characters, if it's 14 years later, all the character designs are going to be different. So now we can roll out every toy we've ever made. We can make a new version of all those toys. Now you got to buy Asuka with the eye patch. Now you got to buy Rey, but she's wearing black for no reason. Shinji's like, oh, black, that's an odd choice. Yeah, there's literally no reason she's wearing black other than let's give her a new design. Everyone else is aged up, but she's just another Rey clone, so just put her in a different costume. Put Shinji in a black costume. Put Kaoru in a black costume. Hey, let's get Makinami Mary. She was mostly the same, but her mech is, different now. Everyone's got different mechs. There's 3 different versions of Unit 2 now. You got the dog version, you got the Berserk version, you got the regular, you got Unit 1 that's got 4 arms, and you've got Unit 1 that's white and has a giant dick coming out of its head. Then you've got it when it's got the angel wings. They show it in like 5 different stages of transformation. That's 5 different toys right there. How many fucking model kits could you possibly make out of this movie? What about the giant fucking battleship with marionette strings? Never explained that, by the way. Why the battleship has marionette strings and a bunch of other boats like floating alongside it. That makes no fucking sense. It's got a giant rib cage inside of it. Whatever. Terminal Dogma. It's got a mountain of skulls and a big fucking baby with 2 spears. Now there's 2 spears. Have your, buy the spear add-ons to your fucking toys. Just buy shit. Just make as much shit that we can make toys out of so you can buy it.
I can't find the exit. I can, parentheses, not find the exit.
Do you have any more notes you want to go through?
Just, my main point about this dog shit
Hold
film.
on, you gotta show them the DigiBronyMLP Gendo diagram.
I
feel like that's gotta be important.
I don't know what I was trying to get at here. I was trying to solve the conspiracy, I guess.
Can I show it?
Yeah.
Here, Victor. Zoom in on this. This all makes sense when you look at it this way. It all adds up. You can tell. You can tell what's really going on.
Yeah. So my main point about this is this movie is everything that people who haven't seen Ava think Ava is. And that is a nonsensical clusterfuck of retarded faggots crying and screaming at each other. It's, a hollow specter of a once great franchise, and it is sustaining itself on prestige that it did not earn. It is standing on the shoulders of a great story, using that masterful work of art as a platform off of which to tell a worse story.
Final score?
3.33.
I give it a 2 out of 10. Unfortunately, I can't like it enough to even make a meme score out of it. That's it for the Pleeb and the Weeb.
now I've let you down.
I've been a fool to myself. I thought that
Coming and crying and coming and crying and coming and crying until I
I wish that I could turn back time, 'cause now the guilt is all mine. Can't live without the judgment of you, Lord. I know
What if there was what if
we can't forget love and pride.
what if Asuka was the Grudge?
Because of that, it's killing.
She came out of the well.
That's it. We're done.
I'm Shinji. Hi, I'm a nice guy. I don't really cause a lot of drama. I try to keep a low profile. Avoid people, cause people only hurt you in the end. The world is evil, but my daddy called me and said, Shinji, my boy, hop inside the Eva and fight or be destroyed. I'm like, let me think about it. He's like, no! Get inside the robot, it's time to go! So I fought a few battles, and that ain't fun. I've only just begun, and I'm already done. I ain't having that crap, daddy, you can go to hell. But my buddy Ayanami's here, so I might as well.